They are having a chip party, putting a microchip in your body. They're having people line up, and I don't know, I hope I'm not breaking a law here by just getting the first part from NBC. Uh, it really, I guess, infuriates me because I've spent part of my life, I was kidnapped first of all and found out about it in '83 when I was in a campaign to replace a doctor who, by the way, that's what I was writing about, chipping people back then. So this has been going on. I'm bouncing around here. Putting chips in people and heart bypasses and root canals, etc. has been going on probably back in, well, 1930 when the Tesla files were stolen. Let me turn it around a minute, then I'll turn it back. The Tesla files were stolen in 1930, and you could, in the files, it was how you could create an illness or cure an illness. So you wouldn't need the hospitals necessarily. You need something specialized, you know. But the other thing is, I know that they can create or cure illnesses and program people to commit murder. It really, the person's programmed, so they're not the one doing the murder. It's who's at the controls, who's programmed. But the thing that the last few days I know from experience on this one, when I was kidnapped and brought over here, and I've put this up, the same two men that left me in Moulton, Alabama came back. I guess a couple of months later, a few weeks later, I don't know. But I guess they were going to prove to my family they had me. So they cut this finger off from the knuckle up right here. Right here. They cut it up from there. Okay, just above the knuckle right there. Okay, this is right hand. Well, the family were so dirt poor and mean that they didn't have anything anyway. That's me, and it happened before then, I think. They brought me over here when I was, in 1941, when I was 2 years old. So anyway, that's what I want to tell. The finger grew back suddenly. It was suddenly. And I didn't remember it until after I'd written a book on mind control and programming and all that. And I guess the thing gets me, if I can still get up on this, Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, while I was doing the book. And the shooter that shot him was programmed. Now, Mr. Flint invited me out to his home. I'd never met him in '83. It was after then he helped me in the campaign. Larry McDonald, congressman doctor, went down in the KAL that veered into Russian airspace. And again, all you have to do is put the pilot under mind control programming, and he can take the plane anywhere into the side of the mountain or the ocean. So I'm not going to get into other details I have. I wanted to put this up, though. They can program people to kill. This is Aurora, Colorado, James Holmes, and they're treating this young man for mental illness, which he doesn't have. He was programmed. That's the most hideous thing. How many people have they done that to? Okay, here is implantable biochips. And by the way, a church here outside Roanoke, when I first came, I came here in October I was thrown out on the street again, '86. And they actually knew about me, and I had talked to them, and they bought this book for me. I think Tex Mars was the one that had it published, but anyway, Project Lucid was the name of it. Mine was MD License to Kill. It's unpublished because they almost killed me, and I thought it was because of the chip. So this certainly, I was never that. Anyway, Mark of the Beast sounds awful real right now. I always thought it did because the implantable biochips, because I found out when I found out about my kidnapping that this is the Illuminati, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, Kennedys. Joe Kennedy, his son JFK helped kidnap me and fly me out of London to Moulton, Alabama. But anyway, the same two men that actually handed me to Dempsey, mother of twins that she had killed, and they gave me Peggy's name, the twin, and that's the name I still have to use. But anyway, they came back and they cut the finger there. And it was a horrible thing. I couldn't remember it until 83. And then I ran into a girl just before I went to work for the district attorney in 1980. I was at the employment office, and what happened to me prior to then is I should have died. Don't have time to put it up, and I have. But I was sitting across from this girl at the employment agency in Huntsville, and you could tell her finger was cut off. I mean, she didn't have it, and it was bandaged up. And I thought I was going into orbit. I was already in hell because of what they'd done to me. But when I saw it, and then later, the next year's when I was, couple of years later, I was out at Larry Flint's in the campaign to replace a doctor I'd written about. So I began to remember things that I wasn't able to before. But this is Timothy McVeigh that was put to death he was in your army. He was a vet. You would think that the veterans would be up in arms about it. Chip was putting him, and by the U.S. Army, put up his buttocks without his consent, okay. This is William, and he's illegal. I'm the daughter of Edward VIII, who never married Wallace Simpson. Double did. It was a plot to take my dad down because he wouldn't go along with the Illuminati, the global government. And that's exactly what this is, the Project Lucid that I wrote about, the people that kidnapped me, and I found out later after doing the book. But anyway, William's got a chip in him. Now people are lining up to get chipped. All the stuff that I have put up the last years, especially the last since the 2012 on Facebook, and then YouTube, Facebook, and they've tried to take it down. I've put up about mind control murders and what you can do in the chips. By the way, they were chipping back in 1963, before then. So how far back, I don't know. But I do know that they were putting chips in people. But I do know that the Tesla files were stolen. That was 1930. And when they did that to me, that was 1941. Hey, it grew back. I haven't told anybody because I don't care how much evidence people here are Americans. And my mother was an American, and I'm not real proud to say that, after the way she's been treated, my dad and me and my kids. It's horrible. But really, I'm going to leave it here. People are lining up for a chip to be put in them. I can't believe it, really. So all this has been for nothing. So this is what they can create or cure an illness using programming and mind control. And they can program people to kill or look like they've committed suicide when it's murder by mind control and not suicide. So they can do anything with it. Your car go into the Tennessee River and drown, or whatever, plane go down. Okay, can it be used to grow limbs? Well, why not? I would think people would be up in arms about it and would be out marching and everything for the truth to be told. Instead, they actually hate the messenger, me, when I've told it. Part of it's because I'm English and who I am and what they did to my dad. And to tell it is so hideous what they did to me, this country, and to my children, my parents, and my country. So I'm going to let it go. Stop and think about it. They don't want that part. If they tell about me, the media's controlled by the Rockefellers, the Illuminati. Rockefeller Plaza is where the media, CBS, ABC, and NBC are, and Fox. Anyway, if they tell it, they have to tell about you can cure an illness or create one, and about quite possibly if you can put a finger back, make it grow back, This was when Larry Flint did an editorial. Then you can certainly grow legs, I would think. So think of all the people that would benefit, but then your companies that grow, that make, well, I'm not saying the right word now, prosthetics. I can't even say it at the moment. But anyway, the economy. I guess that's what they're looking at. But your New World Order's in place, and you're walking right into it, just like it says in Revelations. And I wrote about this before this book was. I wrote about it in '78. I've forgotten when this book came out, but anyway, the church bought it for me. So it's Mark of the Beast and biochips. This book, I think, was published before I came here in '86. I'm not sure. I wrote about all this, though, when Flint was shot. I was writing about it in Moonraker Apartments in Marietta, Georgia, and he was shot in Lawrenceville, and I had a list then. And by the way, next door, the young man from South Korea, student at University of, Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, that all those 33 were shot, he was programmed. So why has the media kept a lid on all of it?